Hello!
Hello,
Chapter 8
So
Construction of the Cape!
Why are you yelling?
Sorry. Oh, sorry. Okay, so in the last chapter, the dad says, all right, I will give you this piece of land. It's where they dump all like the mine tailings, which basically just means the leftover like rocks and dirt that they took out of the mine. So it's like just this big, long, like kind of mile-long stretch of
Nothing.
just nothing, and it's all probably like contaminated, so nothing grows there or anything. Okay, so now they're gonna build it, and they call it Cape Colwood, which is a play on words for Cape Canaveral, which is where NASA launches their rockets from in Florida. If you ever go visit NASA, that's probably where you would go, is Cape Canaveral. All right, so at the starting of this, we see kind of where we're at in the space race, which is that the Soviets are way ahead of the United States. They're already launching their third satellite, which is like a 3,000-pound satellite. Meanwhile, the U.S. is like trying to launch like a 3-pound satellite. So in 1958, so far all the rockets that we've been developing was by the military. So like the Werner von Braun, who was like the main guy who was developing rockets, he was with the Army. But President Eisenhower and Congress announced they're going to make this new agency called NASA. So this is when NASA starts, and their focus is going to be all about space, not like the military part of rockets. Okay, just the space part. So that's kind of what's going on there. The big thing here, and we kind of talked about this earlier, this is actually where they find out officially that football is going to be canceled, and so Jim and the other football players are like really ticked off. But because of that, the school really buckles down and says, like, we are going to...
You guys are going to be smart.
Like, yeah, basically...
Which you would hope a school would do that already, but like...
But they, like, really start cracking down, and they do this big
like
assembly of how, like, from now on, like, no more easy stuff. Like, you
care
guys...
about science.
In this, we find out Jim is really upset about losing his football school. Like, he doesn't think he'll be able to make it to college and play football. And also, he's mad at his dad. So remember, Jim and Homer are like tight, but Jim's like, Dad, you screwed this up. You shouldn't have done that lawsuit. Like, this is all your fault that I can't play football. Okay. The next big development in this chapter is we have a new character arrive who is Valentine or Valentine. And she is a year older than them. So I think they are in, I think 9th grade, but maybe 10th grade.
Yeah.
But she's a year older.
Yeah.
And Roy Lee kind of has a crush on Valentine. And Valentine, I would say, is kind of like the girl version of Roy Lee. So we know that Roy Lee like is kind of like a wannabe ladies man, and he's like much more interested in dating and girls and stuff. So Sonny likes Dorothy, and Dorothy like is pretty much like friend zoning him super hard. And her whole thing is just to be like, Sonny, help me with my biology homework.
Do
and
my
like,
homework.
And act like super sweet. Valentine is like
She's a playa.
She is a playa, and she like she's super flirty with Sonny, and she'll basically just be like, Sonny, I like you. If you ever decide you want to like, you know,
make out,
let me know. So she is, like I said, she's kind of like the girl version of Roy Lee. She's much more open and you know, she's just out there.
She's an aggressive dude.
Yeah, she's like, and it's kind of funny because it's just funny to see the situations because she's like so open and Sonny is so shy.
Yeah.
And so it's like he doesn't even know what to
do.
She'll like say stuff and flirt, and he's just like,
okay.
You know, it kind of just goes over his head.
Yeah.
All right, so that kind of is going on. So they've got this piece of land, but they need to build a, what do they call it? A rocket house?
A bunker.
A launch. They need to build a launch pad first of all, to like actually a place to launch the rockets from, and then they need to build like a building that they hide in so they don't get blown up. Pretty much.
Which his dad gives them the supplies to do that, more or less. Except they need like what, concrete?
They need a few different things. They need like wood, and I think their dad gives them scrap wood. They need like some cinder blocks. I think they need to pour cement for like the pad.
Yeah.
And so they go, what I love about this is it's kind of like if you are a teenager and there's something you're passionate about, one of the big challenges you might run into is money. Yeah. And so he's got to figure out how they're going to like pay for this stuff, how they're going to build rockets and build the Cape and all that. And so they go kind of on this scavenger hunt where it's like, oh, well, this person has some cement, but they don't want to just give it away. We can't pay for it. So they'll give it to us if we get them some siding for the roof, or like the church has, or they want like garden soil, and the church has extra garden soil, but they need siding for the roof. And this person over here has some like extra siding sitting in their backyard, and so they kind of go on the scavenger hunt of like trying to like do all these trades. If you're like in a side quest on video games, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's like, oh, I can help you with that, but first you gotta do me a favor, and then go around doing all these favors.
It's really cool though. It's just like another obstacle, and this one is. It seems like a simple one, but like it's a huge issue. It's like I don't have money, I don't have supplies, but they overcome it. They find a way to like just finagle all these different trades to get what they need. And then I would say probably the most critical part of this chapter is at the end with his dad coming to him to talk about Mr. Bykowski, which we know has been sent back to work in the mine. He's no longer working in the shop or whatever. But his dad, again, softening a bit, does what?
Yeah, so his dad basically says, okay, I will let Mr. Bykowski help you build your rockets, and you could do it in the shop, but you can't do it like during company time. You have to go like, I think basically at night.
Yeah.
And you can't use any of our supplies. Like you've still got to get all your own supplies.
Yeah.
So it's his dad's softening up a little bit.
Yeah.
To where he knows he can't be like, you can't do this at all.
Yeah.
And
Sonny's pumped because he's like, we can't solder. We don't have we can't afford the machines that we would need to do it. And his dad agrees to like, if Mr. Bykowski is on board and willing to, use his personal time, I'll let you guys use our equipment.
Yep. Yeah. So now they're basically set up to go. They've got a place to launch their rockets. They have permission to do it. They have a place to build. Their biggest challenge now, they got to get their own supplies and stuff, but they're kind of ready to go.
Yep.